Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another brand new video. Today we're going to be rebuilding Wolves. Quite a big challenge. It was a recommendation from a viewer. If you want to see your team featured in this, drop a comment below and I definitely will be getting to it. I've got 2 more suggestions which I'm going to be doing and then I'm open to more. But before we get into the video guys, leave a like on the video, make sure you subscribe, drop a comment as well of any suggestions that you want me to put on this channel and let's get into it. So as always, the first thing we do is look at the squad. See what's going on and see where we can improve. Now, I've only got 4 million to spend. They're not budging on it. And I have got 100% of the transfer revenue. But I've got to be careful because, obviously, we have got some good players that possibly are old. But if I sell them, it's a bit of a risk in the first window. Because, obviously, although I'm going to get 100% of the money, am I going to get as good a player? That is what we've got to ask ourselves. So the first season, we could honestly find ourselves in a situation where we're using majority of the players that were here. And then hopefully we get a bit of a budget next season and we can start to reevaluate things. But people like João Moutinho, fantastic player, obviously 34, so he's got tops of 2 seasons in him. John Ruddy is our backup goalkeeper. We've got quite an actual, quite worrying actually. A lot of our first team players, so like I mean, especially Raul Jimenez is 30. A player which is one player I could be tempted to possibly get rid of and bring in instantly a young striker. That could be something I look to do. Although his stats are very good, when his value is still good, it is quite tempting. But for the first season, I honestly think I might keep it as it is, just because, unless we get a ridiculous offer for a player, like, I already know for a fact we're going to have the likes of, where is he? I can see it. Ruben Neves. People will come in for Neves. He will not be getting sold. I'm building the team around him, for one. Fabio Silva, a player that I do want to try and work with. Great potential. And I will actually offer him a new contract as well to keep him here. Because he could actually be the backup or the replacement for Jimenez when I sell him or when he goes. But I think to start with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some friendlies out the way, possibly even start the season. What I'm going to say is I'm going to start the season off, and unless we do make signings mid-season, then we'll instantly advance a whole season. Because the thing is, I don't want to be risky and make or sell players and then bring in players that aren't fully developed, because Wolves aren't a title contending team at the end of the day. We're going to have to ensure that we get a good finish to get a good budget. It's as simple as that. So let's get into the first season and let's see how it goes. So I thought I'd request more funds because it would make the series a bit more interesting so we can sign some people in the first window. And I was not expecting this. I want to prove this just so you don't think, you know, I've given myself a budget magically out of the sky. But we've gone from having 4 million to 27 million. So we're now going to try and do some business throughout the season. And I'll come back to you before the end of the season with the results, with the players that we managed to bring in mid-season. And hopefully we can get a bit more of a youthful impact in this team. So, after the board actually blessed us with a little bit of money, we did actually make a couple of signings for the team. We also did sell some players. One of the players I did plan to keep for the rest of the season, but because of his age, I wanted to cash in on him when I could. And he's not played the best in the opening games. And that player was João Moutinho. Obviously, a legend at Wolves, a player that will be missed, but he wouldn't accept a new contract, obviously because of his age. It was coming up to expire. He would have gone on the free anyway, so we let him go to Newcastle for 1.8 million. His top's going to be at like that club for like a year because he's already like getting on for 35. We sent a few people out on loan as well. Taylor Perry, Marcel, another player that also went. Contracts were coming up, so I let them go. And the 2 players we brought in, I wanted to bring in younger players. The first guy I brought in initially was meant to be a centre-back. He can play there and he probably will in the future, but at the moment he's also very comfortable playing in the ball-winning midfielder role, and that is Edson Alvarez from Ajax for 14.2 million. A fantastic player, a great signing, only 24 years as well, so you're talking 6 or 7 seasons worth of football before he even starts to, you know, see the downfalls of the agent. And his stats are just really well balanced. Like, they're all sort of, you know, 13s, 14s, 15s. As it gets to, like, you know, the crossing and finishing and all that, it does get a little bit worse, but he's not a player that's going to be up the pitch too much. So for me, a perfect fit for the team. The age is important because I'm trying to sign people that aren't above sort of, you know, 26, 27, just so that these 5 years I've got, they can play the entire lot. And he's also comfortable here, playing at the back. So overall, a very good signing, a versatile signing, you know, very flexible in the positions that he plays as well. And the other signing we got was Oscar Melodano, or Melado, I believe so you say it, for 12 million from Espanyol. Just a central midfielder. He can play box to box as well. 3-star ability, didn't cost me too much, and obviously we got rid of one midfielder. I wanted to bring in another one, and we didn't have a lot left. We literally had around this sort of budget, around about 10 million, 13 million. So it's who we brought in. Again, a player with decent stats, the ability to grow as well. 24 years old, so he will be with us for the duration of the save. And these players are just sort of, they're more depth players, not Alvarez. He will be first team, but like this guy, possibly going forward, depending on the budget we get, he might not find himself starting, but he can grow. He's got good stats, and it's just a good player to add to the squad. But that's going to be all the transfers. We're like midway through the season, so let's finish the season and let's see where we finish. So then, guys, the first season has been simulated. The board have given us 53 million to reinvest into the team, which is a very, very good amount, to be fair, considering this is our second season in charge of the club. But let's have a look how we finished. I'm hoping we managed to get some type of European football. Let's have a little look. Wow. So 4th place, purely off goal difference. So we beat Arsenal and Chelsea to the top 4 race, which is massive in our first season. We made no real signings, like, not at the start. We brought in 2 lads who, you know, are good players but need time to develop. But to be fair, the team that we got given is actually really good on paper. Young, promising wingers. Towards the back end of the team, like the back line, couple of the midfielders, the age is getting on, but overall quite a good initial team. We also won the FA Cup versus Liverpool and also the Carabao Cup versus Leeds. So honestly, a very impressive cup performance as well. We won both English trophies. Raul Jimenez nearly approaching 40 goals. He got the highest match rating as well. 12 assists for Neto. And overall, a very, very positive first season, in my opinion. Let's have a little look. This is, by the way, this is a formation I've been playing. Just a 4-3-3, basic, just because they have got good wingers. Obviously, Traore doesn't play. It'll be Pedence or Trincao or Hwang Hee-chan. Let's look at the squad, though. So, match ratings. Raul Jimenez obviously going to be top. And this is the reason I didn't want to sell him. Until I can literally bring in a striker who is going to either be an incredible youngster or someone who's like 26, 27 with the experience to replace the goals, I'm not going to be replacing him. So if we click on him here, sensational. I mean, 35 appearances, 27 goals, 5 assists, done it in the FA Cup as well, scored more goals than he played in the FA Cup, and a sensational season for him. He's 31 now, so I mean, he still has got probably 2 seasons in him, so I'm going to keep him until he stops performing, and then we're going to have to replace him and hopefully cash out on him when he's still worth something. Willy Bolly actually putting in a great performance as well overall. Pedro Neto, a very good player with 12 assists, 14 goals. Ruben Neves actually with 9 goals from midfield, 10 assists as well. Who's this guy down here? Trincao, the loanee from Barcelona, 7 assists and 15 goals, very impressive. And Leo Bontani with 16 goals as well, which I've been looking at. So some of the worst performers that we're looking at are sort of, I mean, I don't know how Bontani actually got such a poor. Let's have a little look at that. Okay, I'm not sure how he got such a bad match rating because he was scoring the goals, but obviously goals aren't everything in the game. So Pedence didn't have an overall great season in terms of match rating, nor did Fabio Silva hardly played. Wow, yeah, he hardly played at all. A player which I've got to decide, is he going to be the player that I look to develop as the backup, not the backup, sorry, the replacement for Jimenez, or is it not? But overall, I would say a fantastic season for sure. But let's go and make some signings for Season 2 and hopefully just strengthen this team a little bit. So then guys, welcome to the Season 2 transfers. Now we've made a few changes, we really have. Now, one of the players that I decided to bring in, which is still technically on this side of things, is another midfielder, can play in box-to-box or ball-winning midfielder role. So either is a bonus for me. None other than Danilo, 11 million from Palmeiras. A very, very good player for that price. Obviously, instantly doubled the value as soon as we brought him in. His stats, very well balanced, and it's just a player who adds depth to the team now, because at the end of the day, that midfield, it was aging, there wasn't really enough, and I play three in midfield, and for me, I always like to prioritise the midfield in formations, because a lot of my play is done through the midfielders. And overall, for that price tag, you cannot complain. He's got, you know, good work rate, everything else is pretty well balanced, finishing not great, but not really an issue, because he's not going to be shooting too much. Moving on. So, going out, we did get rid of Adama Traore. As I said, he's not a personal favourite of mine. His finishing's not there. And also, Ruben Vinagre, we got rid of him for 8.5 million. And a few people did go on the free. But Bonate actually was on loan last season. So that's where he got his goals from. I tried to offer him a contract. He didn't. He wanted to move on. Fair enough. We also spent quite big here, but we brought in a backup left back and centre-back. He can play both. Sebastian Vegas from Monetary, 7.5 million. Honestly, a steal. There are quite a few clubs going in for him, and I can see why. I mean, for the price we paid for him, he's worth nearly 30 million. He's more than capable of playing in centre-back or left-back, so it's quite good for us. Because we've got such an aging back line, we need depth, and it's sort of handy to have players that can play not only a left back but can play at centre back, and they can play sort of all over the place. The only position this guy can't play across the back line is right back at full comfortability. So overall, a very good player, and someone who at that price tag I couldn't really not snap up. And then we spent big. This will be probably our biggest midfield signing for quite a while, because next window is really about bolstering that attack a little bit, because obviously we've got less depth now going forward, and we really want to introduce Fabio Silva into getting, you know, into the team and playing. But Matthias Swavberg from Bologna, 27 million, but this guy is an absolute baller, worth now up to 60 million upwards, and his stats are absolutely incredible. 23 years old, and got the potential to grow and grow and grow. This guy and Neves in the midfield is an absolute joke. Honestly sensational. This midfield we've got now is honestly quite scary. I'm going to quickly show you it before we get into the next season. But as you can see here, we can literally have Swavberg in the box-to-box, or we can rotate them, have them like that. We've got Alvarez. We can also now get Danilo involved. We've still got Dendoncker, a player which I could move on next window, possibly. But overall, this team, I'm very confident in. We do need to bolster the depth in the attack, which we will do either mid-season or next window, because obviously we might even look to bring in a first team winger and then drop Podence to the bench, because I believe Neto is the better one of the two. Well, they're quite similar actually in terms of potential. Neto is slightly better in terms of potential, but that is something I could look to do. But overall, a very good window from myself. But let's get into Season 2 and see how these signings cope. So then, this is Season 2 simulated. We've got 73 million the board have allowed us to spend for the upcoming season. So definitely an improvement there, but let's see how we finish. Hopefully an improvement on 4th. Wow, 3rd place, literally 2 points off the title. Leeds had a bloody fantastic season as well. So an improvement in the league, that is for sure. 2nd best for goals scored, 3rd best for goals conceded. Raul Jimenez with 43 goals there. Finished 3rd in Group A in the Champions League, 3rd in the Premier League, lost in the semi-finals in the FA Cup against Manchester United. Quite a difficult fixture. Winners of the Carabao Cup versus Liverpool and the Community Shield versus Liverpool. So we seem to be able to do Liverpool in the tournaments, but to be honest, it's probably because they play a weaker side, because they're focusing on the Premier League, which they have won. And we were runners-up in the Europa League against Arsenal, which does mean, obviously, we did drop down. But if we look into the schedule, there is an explanation for that. We had Barcelona, Inter Milan, and Bayer Leverkusen. We actually beat Barcelona there 4-1. So, fair play there. but we were going to get knocked down. It's quite a difficult group, but we nearly won the Europa League. Overall, I'm very happy with that season. When you bring in new players, and as many as we did, you always have to give them a season to develop. So this save, we might not even win the league because we're going to be constantly bringing in a younger side. Hopefully we do. We do seem to be progressing, and this season, we were literally a point off second. We would have got it because of the goal difference if we were on equal points anyway. And Liverpool just about edged it. So, you know, a little slip up here and there cost us the title. But we can't be talking about that. We should not be expected to win the title 2 seasons in with Wolverhampton. Going into the squad then. So, best performers. Raul Jimenez, 43 goals. Absolutely sensational. Definitely going to keep him for at least another year. And then I think that will be the year where we decide to offload him and see exactly, you know, what he's thinking. Or to be honest, I've just seen his contract. Depending if he accepts a new contract, this might be the last season he plays. If it is, what a way to go with that amount of goals. We've also got fantastic stats coming out of Pedro Neto, looks quite decent. Ruben Neves popping up with some assists and definitely some goals there as well. Hwang Hee-chan actually stepping up for a few games there as well. For me, not the issue in this team, but I would like to bring in Fabio Silva. Wow, he didn't play. I didn't really play at all. It's a gamble with Fabio Silva because I don't know if I can fully trust him to be the replacement for Raul Jimenez. The only way I'm going to find out is to put him in the spotlight and give him a chance. But that attack, I do want to try and strengthen a bit now, because apart from Raul Jimenez, the stats could be better going forward. I think at the back, we're not too bad at all. The midfield's now in a great place in terms of quality and age. But let's go into the transfer window, and hopefully we can try and strengthen the attack a little bit, and possibly bring in another centre-back as well. So, we've made some signings. We've signed some great players. You're going to be surprised who I brought in. And I don't know how I've pulled it off, to be honest. But we're going to go over some players that we have sold. I think I talked about this already, but Adama Traore has left us for 16 million. Just a player that I couldn't really see fitting into my plans. Raul Jimenez, I was going to offload him because he will not accept a contract, and he doesn't want to leave the club. He wants to leave on the free. If I can prevent it, I will, because I should be able to get about 30 to 40 million for him. But at the moment, no clubs are interested, and he's being awkward. But the first player I brought in, which I don't think I show you, was this player here for 8.2 million. Bruno Mendes. A fantastic option to have at right back and also at centre back. Now, these players, you'll see with the person I signed previously, I like having players that can play a bit all over the place at the back, because we haven't got the money to be spending 60, 70 million on world-class defenders. It's not the priority in the team, because realistically this season was about strengthening that attack and, you know, them attacking positions. But this guy here, for the price I paid for him, is instantly worth, obviously, about 26 million. His stats look fantastic. Great bravery, great anticipation, and everything else just looks great. Good work rate on him. And obviously, he can play at the right back and the centre back. So, for me, this is great, because when you've got people that can do this, you're covering 2 positions with one registration on a player. So, it's absolutely great to have him in the team. We then move on. We'll discuss who we brought in, because the one person I'm going to talk about quickly is Fabio Silva. We did get rid of him because, as you can see here, we found a better option in Benjamin Sesko, a player that I love to get on Football Manager, and a player which I never really had that confidence in Fabio Silva there, where he would be the main man. I don't know why. I just didn't feel like he's got it in him to be the main goal scorer and replace Jimenez, whereas with Sesko, I genuinely think he can. But we'll discuss the first player from Palmeiras for 11.2 million in Gabriel Veron, a wonder kid I got scouted. Just a fantastic player because he can play on both wings and also kind of up top, but mainly on the wings. Obviously, he cost me hardly anything. Worth double that, if not more now, pretty much instantly. The potential to grow is all there, and already got great base stats. Quite a quick player, quite an agile player. Finishing's reasonably good for a winger as well. Not guaranteed to start every game, but definitely a player at the age of 20. For that price tag, when I saw him, I was like, I've got to bring him in. I mean, it's hard not to, right? With a player at that cost, with the potential that he's got, I'd be nuts to pass up on the opportunity. And he also, I don't think he costs too much to have at the club either. No, so as you can see, like, I mean, it's about 30k a week. So them type of players I snap up when I can. We then move on to the most expensive player, a Portuguese player, so the board were thrilled, from Sporting, in Pedro Gonzalez, I think so you say that. Again, a fantastic player, worth double what he actually was. I think his contract was close to expiring, and he will be playing on the right-hand side. Pretty much a 4-star ability where I'm going to be playing him, and his stats are absolutely incredible. I do keep saying that for all the players, but they really are. I mean, the finishing for a winger is absolutely incredible. He's got great technique on him, decent work rate, again quite a quick and agile winger, and again 25 years old, so he's got so many years left in his game. So that's why I didn't grudge paying the 30 odd million I did, because I know that he'll be in this team for the duration of this save and go and past that. And moving on to the last man, you know who it is. You've signed him before. Pretty much anyone that's played Football Manager has probably signed this guy. Benjamin Sesko from Salzburg. 17.5 million. A player who obviously is worth a lot more than that, but you can get him for quite cheap on this game. And yeah, the stats, some of them do need work, but none of them ridiculously stand out, apart from obviously the pace, acceleration, decent finishing. But the guy's 20. He has got so much time to grow, and that's what he's going to have. He's going to have that time to grow in this team, because Raul Jimenez will be here for this season at least, and then Sesko can play alongside him, or like alternate games, possibly even beside him, depending on what sort of tactics we decide to play this season. But honestly, a sensational window out of me, I personally think. We obviously spent 60 million and we got about 7 point something million back. So we've spent all of our budget basically. Obviously sold a bit more there. But again, a fantastic window, and I'm really excited to now go in to season 3 and see how we do. So another season simulated. Let's see how we finish. We have got 104 million to strengthen in the next window. So let's just have a little look. This is our 3rd season that we've simulated. Home. Bam. Top 4. Gassed about that. But to be honest, this is, I've instantly seen this all red. I mean, lost in the quarterfinals, not really acceptable against Bayer Leverkusen. I would favour myself against them. I can understand if it was an elite team. This is an embarrassment against Blackburn. Aston Villa, again, a team which we probably should be beaten. We have, to be fair, the signings, I will say, I've just seen this as well. Goals scored is the best, so them attack and signings have paid off, and they are clearly helping. Benjamin Sesko actually getting our top goal scorer, which is very good to see, because obviously he's got that very important role coming up where he will be replacing Jimenez, who I have continuously tried to sell. He also got the highest average rating, 15 assists for Pedro Neto. Best pass completion for Edson Alvarez, obviously the guy that was brought in at centre-back but actually plays in CDM, a ball-winning midfielder. He's very good in that role. So we'll go over to the squad, have a little look. So obviously Benjamin Sesko at the top with 30 goals, 27 goals for Raul Jimenez. So that they're spreading the goals quite well. Raul Jimenez won't be here next season, so it's nice to see that Sesko is able to score more than him in his 1st season. It really is. We've also got some standout stats here from our new man in Pedro, obviously with 18 goals in his 1st season and 8 assists. Again, Matthias Swansberg there with 7 assists, 14 goals. 15 assists from Pedro Neto, which is great because obviously he is a winger. That should be his job, to obviously get the ball in the box or vice versa, so very good from him. And they're pretty much the standout players, to be fair. Ruben Neves keeping it consistent again, always popping up with some goals as well, which is good to see. Worst performer being Hwang Hee-chan, but probably doesn't play too much, and our backup centre mid, who I don't know if he plays too much either. He played a decent amount of games, but, you know, it's quite a high-pressure role he is playing in that midfield for sure. Goalkeeper, not exactly having a great match rating, but again, if you do concede goals, you know, it's hard to keep it. Overall, though, I mean, I would say, I would honestly say that I kind of, I was hoping we'd do a lot better in the competitions this season. Being honest, that's what I thought. But we didn't. There's nothing I can do about it. We have got a lot of money to strengthen the team again. Obviously, you can see there, Raul Jimenez will be going. I tried to sell him. He refused any club that I tried to sell him to, so he will be going on the free. But next season, I really want to try and get into this 2nd spot and do better in the competitions. We only lost out on the 2nd spot purely by goal difference, and that says a lot about what's going on, because we've scored the most, but we've not got great goal difference compared to these two, which tells me it's defence again. So I need to look into bringing possibly world-class centre-backs, I'm looking to the goalkeeper as well, see exactly what he's been doing, and I'll come back to you with the 4th season of transfers, and hopefully we can then go into the 4th season and come out as potential, I was going to say Premier League winners. You never know. You never know. I'll come back to you with the transfers. Well, we've just done endless business at the club. I wanted to strengthen as much as I possibly could because obviously, you know, last season I was a bit disappointed about the trophies, and also we got such a big budget. There's been loads of players gone out, loads of players come in. So it is going to be, this season is possibly going to be the gelling, and next season's going to be the big one where everything's on the line, where I feel like I've built a team which can win the Prem. So the first signing we went and we got, I'm going to quickly run through the players that we got rid of. So you can see here, a few people here went on the free. I do always try and renew contracts, but sometimes during the season they get accepted, as I do simulate the season. Fabio Silva I talked about. Aiton Nori, now a player which I don't actually play. Good player in real life, but on here I've just not really given him the chance. Probably my fault, but Arsenal come in for 25 million, so I let him go. And also Morgan Gibbs-White, again, a fantastic player in real life, but does not fit the plans going forward in this save. So 7 million for him to Stoke. The one player I brought in, which you'll see, we have also got another like year worth of transfers because it goes on to the next season, right? But the first player I brought in, I said I needed to strengthen the back line. It was one of the biggest weaknesses, as you can see, because we scored the most amount of goals, but we had such a bad goal difference. So it tells you right there. So I brought in Edmund Tapsoba from Bayer Leverkusen for 38.5 million. But the guy is an absolute unit. I mean, he's our best centre-back at the club. 25 years old, so still very young. His stats are honestly incredible. He's strong, he's reasonably quick, and also I feel like he can be a leader. He's easily got like 7 years in him before he sees any decline in terms of stats, in terms of physicality, anything. So I mean, a fantastic player to bring in, and for me, I genuinely think he was the best option on the market for the price I was trying to pay. Moving on then to the next year of signings. There's a lot of people I know gone in, but we did get rid, these were the people that went on free, so Jimenez finally went. The only player we sold was Ryan Giles because he doesn't actually play, to Norwich for 8.5 million. The rest were on the free. But we brought in this guy on the free because honestly, he's our best backup right back now. Mathieu Murray from Borussia Dortmund. Very good backup to have. I mean, he's valued at like 20 million, so we got an absolute steal there. Overall, stats are very good. Quite a quick fullback. He won't start ahead of Semedo, no. But I mean, it's a great backup to have. And I just thought he's free. He doesn't cost a lot to have at the club. And he's only 24. There's not really a downside to it. We then turned and went into the Serie A for our next signing, or it could be Serie B actually. Udinese for 26 million. This will be a guy to replace Johnny, because Johnny is slowly declining. He's 30 years of age. He's done well for the club, but now it's time. We've got the money to upgrade on that. So we went with Destiny Udogie. And again, a player that can grow, worth about 79 to 89 million. His stats are absolutely ridiculous. He's rapid. I mean, he's even got a decent cross on him, to be fair. Good work rate. Pretty much good at everything. Again, a player which I brought in, I got scouted him. I was like, I need a left back, but it's going to be a dominant left back that's going to be in the team going forward. He's only 21, so yes, he has got to grow. He's got to become confident. But, I mean, he can learn off Johnny. Johnny's just getting to that point now where he's struggling against the faster wingers. He's getting to an age now where he can't keep up. So I thought it's the perfect time to bring in a fullback when I had the opportunity. Moving on to Joelson Fernandes, a Portuguese player. So the board were thrilled for 19.7 million from Sporting. Again, a winger, because Neto, he's very similar to Neto, but this guy he's a little bit better. He's got better potential, and I feel like Neto needs that competition now because, you know, Neto is a good player, but he's not going to win you leagues, whereas this guy, with the growth that he can get to, possibly can. I mean, again, fantastic stats. I like signing wingers that are tricky, that are quick, that are hard to deal with, and that's what this guy is. Finishing's not the best, but as you can see from previous like stat breakdowns, my wingers aren't really the ones scoring the goals all the time. It's the forward players. Granted, last season, my right wing did, but that's because his finishing's like 17. But as long as this guy's got pace, got a bit of skill, can get the ball in the box, that's all I'm after. It really is. And then we go on to a backup centre-back, which is Bafode Diakate from Toulouse. Again, just a backup centre-back to have, valued at a lot more than what we paid for him. Again, that is something that I am good at this game, getting fantastic deals on players. And yet, Hedden, I mean, 17, sensational. Not as good as the centre-back that we have signed. So, I mean, he might not be in the first team all the time, but judging by this, he's got a very good shot of being in the first team. I only really had enough money to buy one world-class centre-back. I needed a left-back, and maybe next season we'll get another world-class centre-back. We'll see where it takes us. But as a backup / future first team at the age of 23, can't go wrong. And then the last player was sort of a last-minute decision because I saw him and I literally blinked twice. I was like, 14 million? Yes, please. I'll have him. So from Barcelona, we signed Gavi. Obviously, in real life, this guy's an absolute joy to watch. So hungry for the club. One of the few players that you can see actually cares and wants that club to go back to where it belongs. And that's why I brought him. Obviously, 14 million. His contract was close to expiring. He's worth about 60 to 70. A very well-balanced player. Is he going to get you 30 goals a season? No. Is he going to get 90 assists? 60 assists, not that much, but you know, I'm exaggerating, but he's not going to be a player that's going to get loads and loads of like out there stats, but he is a player that when he plays puts in 100%. He is creative and he can, you know, work with these other midfielders and fill in games when other people are injured, and eventually you can see his potential. He will definitely be first team. So a fantastic window from us. I am expecting this next season to be either one or two things. One, it will be fantastic, we'll dominate, or two, I won't be surprised if we have a little drop off when the players gel, and the next season is going to be the season where I can honestly say I've built the team, they've had enough time to gel, that's where we've got to win what we're going to win in this. Because remember, I only give myself 5 years, so we've got 2 more years to try and win the title. If not, we're not going to do it. And I'm not the type of person to do this all, don't do well, so I'll delete the recording and start again. This is live in the action. But let's get into the 4th season and let's see how we do. So then, guys, that is season 4 completed with Wolves. Now, let's see how we done. We've got 62 million to spend on our last window. Obviously, we're now going in to what is the 5th season. So this will be the last chance we've got to sign players. Now, I'm hoping we've done a little bit better in the Cups and managed to maintain that top 4 position, because that's where we were at last season and we were playing quite well. Wow. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I'm disappointed, big time. 7th place in the league, so we got, what, Europa Conference, possibly? So, absolutely shocking, to be honest. Really disappointed in that. Again, goals conceded, you know, getting on for the 8th worst. Clearly that back line, still not strong enough. Champions League, I'm not too angry about. That one I'm not angry about. We did win the Carabao Cup against Leeds, but that sort of you know, excitement has just been outweighed by the fact that we've finished 7th. Like, we've not even got Europa League. That's an honest embarrassment. Benjamin Sesko there with 42 goals, so he's definitely not the issue. Our new man Fernandez with 18 assists, so obviously he's been playing well as well. But let's go into the squad and break down what's going on here then. So, Sesko, and our left back's actually been playing well as well. So, I mean, it's quite weird how, you know, how these games are going. We've got 18 goals there coming from Ruben Neves. 18. Absolutely fantastic from him. 12 coming from Neto with 9 assists. Fernandez with 18 assists in his first season. Pedro Gonzalez there. A slightly quieter season in terms of goals, but still, for a right winger, very good for sure. But that's really not good enough that season. I'm going to be straight honest with you guys, because I knew what I said last time, that I brought in so many players that they're going to need a season to gel. And obviously this is the season, but it gives us one more season now to try and go out on a high. Possibly try and win, you know... Well, I mean, the Europa League conference wouldn't even be too impressive. Like, I really want to try and see us at least challenge for the title in our last season. Be very good. We've got, what have we got? We've got 62 million. So I'll come back to you once we've done the signings, and I'm going to prepare us for the last season, and hopefully we can make something happen. So then, guys, we're on the transfer page. Now, I spent more time actually sort of playing about with the team a little bit and tweaking the formation, because I think certain areas, obviously, we're not defending great. We're conceding lots of goals. So I've tweaked the formation slightly, made it a bit more defensive because we're scoring goals for fun. And we had about 60 million, but the only area I really wanted to strengthen was the back line again. And I've done that by bringing in Timber from Ajax for £55 million. Again, a player that will be going right into the first team alongside of... Hang on. I forgot his name. Tapsoba, sorry, forgot that. So that is where he'll be going in. This is the formation we are playing, by the way. It does suit the team very well. Obviously, it was a little bit too attacking, so I played about with it, and hopefully that will definitely change some things up. As you can see here, some deals which I've rejected. And the other player I brought in, purely because he was free, and he's got good stats, and this season I am trying to go out with a bang. I brought in the most experienced free agent I possibly could in Ben Yedder. Fantastic finishing stats. Ability might not be the best at the moment because obviously he is an aging player. But at the end of the day, based off his actual attributes, he does look very good. And it's just an option to have on the bench because Hwang Hee-chan doesn't exactly provide much compared to him. So hopefully he might turn up with a few important goals. You never know. We also have a couple of freebies here that have gone out as well. Nothing too serious there. But this season, it's all about now putting the pieces together. We've got a squad. We've got so much talent in this squad now. We've got like young players. We've still got the experience in there. We've still got the likes of Neves, which is the heart of this Wolves team. I built the team around him. We've got very quick wingers, agile forward players. I just want to see us go and try and win something. We are in the Conference League. I'm honestly not fussed if we don't do well in it. I'd rather focus on trying to challenge for the title. Because you guys have got to realise, like, at the end of the day, and I've got to realise myself, that this Wolves team that we put together was in the title race every season, apart from the last season, where I did say I brought in so many players. It's going to be a gelling season. But we have been in a shot of the title. The first two seasons, if I'm not wrong, were literally a matter of points. It was so tight. Liverpool have strengthened and strengthened, though. Their centre-backs they've got, right? They've got Van Dijk. Actually, let's have a little look. Let's have a little quick look at their team. Because I don't think I'm going to do it any justice. Their senior squad, so they've got the likes of Salah, Ward-Prowse, Gvardiol, Trent, obviously Curtis Jones, Mane, Pavard, Robertson, Gomez, Van Dijk, Alisson, Diaz, Kessie, Jota, Kanate, Simakan, the guy that I actually wanted to get. They've got him. Julian Alvarez. They've got loads of players. So to beat these to the title is going to be a challenge. But let's get into the last season and hopefully we can push for the title. So then, guys, that is the last season simulated. Now, we've got 112 million, and that does tell me that some players have gone on the free, which obviously isn't our issue anymore because we are here for 5 years and 5 years only. But let's see where we finished. I just hope the Conference League should be a given. We should win that. I mean, I don't know what other teams are going to be in there, but let's have a look. Get in, finally. 5 seasons has taken us, but we have scraped it literally right at the end by hardly any points as well, obviously by 3 points, and we would have won on goal difference if it was tied. But overall, what a title race. This is literally what it was like in the first, I think, 3 seasons. There were literally points in it, literally so close. Sesko there with 54 goals. Beautiful out of him. Obviously, I mean, he's really developing into some player now. I'm still only 22 as well, so I've definitely left Wolves with a fantastic forward there. Most assists from Pedro Neto, 26. Brilliant from him. And we also did win the Europa Conference final against Villarreal, so actually quite a tricky team when it comes to the final. Not a great display in... Well, it's a decent display, obviously, against Arsenal, quite a tricky game. And Leicester, I thought we possibly could have taken, but not a great display when it comes to winning in English Cups. But overall, a fantastic season. We've won the league. That's what I wanted to do with this Wolves side. Let's quickly go into the squad and see who the star players were. So we're talking Max Kilman actually coming in and got the highest match rating. So fair play to him. Average rating of 7.85. To be fair, he only played two games, so like if as long as he played well across them 2 games, then he's going to get a good match rating. But Fernandez, again, our man that we brought in for that attack and prowess, 7.79, beautiful from him. Benjamin Sesko with actually 54 goals, as mentioned, sensational, 8 assists as well. Pedro Neto, a fantastic season out of him. Tapsoba actually popping up with 6 goals as well, very important from the set pieces. Our left back popping up with a great match performance, or a season performance. Ruben Neves has been consistent right from the start. The man that I wanted to build around, and I have done so. 18 goals from midfield, absolutely brilliant. Our right winger there coming up, obviously a player that we signed quite early on into the save. 26 goals for a right winger is brilliant for the season. 16 assists throughout as well. And Gavi also coming up with 11 goals, 13. Our backup centre mid and Oscar Meladano also contributing, which is very good. Ben Yedder played 1 full game and appearance as substitute as 24. Contributed not a lot really, but I mean, overall, I mean, he done what he needed to do. He got goals sort of when he played. It was just a player that was free. I thought, why not bring him in? But overall, that is an absolutely fantastic season. I mean, honestly sensational. Very happy with that. It wasn't like my United one where I was like sort of expecting to win the league. I knew it was going to be a struggle. I knew it was going to be hard. I do an online save with my mate and he manages Wolves, but we've had different sort of stories. For me, I've not had a ridiculous budget, whereas he sometimes gets 130 million windows right from, you know, 2 seasons in. So, but overall, we've left this club in quite a good situation. We're going to do what we did last time in the United save and go over what we've done for this club and what we've won. So, this is the career milestones, basically what we've accomplished at the club. So, we've got hired as the Wolves manager, as you can see here in 2021. 2022 season, we actually won the Carabao Cup, we won the FA Cup, and we won the Community Shield. So, that was the season for really dominating them English trophies. I mean, we won all of them. All the big ones that you can win. I do believe in that season we also got top 4, to be fair. The following season in 2023, Carabao Cup winners. So again, the English trophies we've always been quite strong in, to be honest. Then obviously we had that off season, which, you know, we won't talk about. We then sort of like, you know, we bounced back in 2025 and we win the Carabao Cup, but nothing else. So these seasons here, it would have been nice to win something else, like the FA Cup, or, you know, it would have been nice to win the Prem earlier, but we had to build a team, which I have done. And then obviously the last season that we go in, we win the Premier League, which was a very, very good title race. And we also win the conference, which, not too fast, but for Wolves, quite a big trophy. Nevertheless, now if I looked at this, right at the start before I send the holiday. I always look at my last few games. Now, I don't know if the title race come down to this, but if you look at my last few games, like, I had Norwich, Burnley and Newcastle, and they all played quite well. You've got Norwich, Burnley, Newcastle. So my last 3 games of the season, I got blessed with games which I probably will, well, I did win. And I'm wondering if that played a difficult part. If we look at like Liverpool, who finished second, and we go into their schedule, obviously a dominant team. They actually finished out quite strong, but here you go. So like their last sort of 4 games, possibly could have slowed them down. They lost to Arsenal, drew to City, then drew to Everton. So and then finished off quite strong there against actually Palace and Brentford. But they had some quite tough games, to be fair to them. I mean, they'd done us in. I don't know if we actually beat them on this day. Although we did beat them once, then they beat us. But overall, a great title race, and we come out as champions. We'll do what we always do, and we'll look at the team that I've left them. Just seen there as well, 100 goals scored, best in the league. I ended up finishing with this formation. This formation I actually made myself, but pretty much just the basic 4-3-3. I feel like I've left them in a great place. They have got people leaving on the free. You can see, I think Sar's leaving on the free. And they've got some other people that are leaving. But at the end of the day, I've left them with 112 million in the pocket to replace a goalkeeper and a backup striker, because I saw that Hwang Hee-chan is leaving. But overall, I mean, we're talking, we'll ignore the goalkeeper because that is replaceable with 100 million. We've left them with Semedo and a great backup in the likes of Murray. We've left them with Tapsoba, Timber. Also, you've got Alvarez, Vegas, Diakate on the bench. and our left back is quality. Won't even talk about him because he just is. We've still got Johnny there as well. And what I've done with this back line is I've made it very, what's the word, like versatile, like that they can literally, very flexible, sorry, that they can play in different positions across the back line. So all of these can sort of cover each other. Midfield, I've left them in a very good place again. Obviously, we've got Gavi, Gonzalez, Neves as well. But on the bench, you've got the likes of Danilo, Swamberg, we've got Alvarez who can play there, and you know, it's overall, I mean, I've left him in a great place in midfield. Fernandez on the right hand side, Neto, Veron, the wonder kid who really didn't pick up as much as what I would have liked, but possibly, you know, can still do that, you know, might be able to contribute at some point. And then Sesko, obviously now our only striker, and Ben Yedder, but you know, what I'm saying here is Connor Cody, I've just seen there, actually managed to stay at the club this whole time. But overall, I feel like I've left him in a great place. If we look at the club info, so finances are okay, the training facilities are 4, youth are 4, the coaching and youth recruitment aren't great, to be fair, but we've come in over 5 years. I think the fans will be happy. We've won some good trophies, we've done quite a good job, and we've left the team in a strong place and left them with a outstanding transfer budget. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this rebuild. This was a suggestion, so I hope the viewer who did suggest this does like it. And if you have enjoyed it enough, guys, please leave a like on the video. Drop a subscription to the channel as well. The channel is growing rapidly right now. You guys are killing it. I love interacting with you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it enough, please do leave a like on the video, and please do subscribe, turn on notifications for plenty more uploads. Underneath my camera, I've personally selected a video which I really think you'll like, and also up next on the other side is a video that YouTube think you might like from my channel. So please do check them out, guys. Also, if you do want to keep in touch with me, be sure to follow my socials. I've got my Instagram and my Twitter above. I love to interact with you guys. But last but not least, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.